Oh, look at this. The beard is gone, guys. I couldn't take it. I did like a bunch of yard work and stuff the other day, and I was like, this beard has to go. So I'm back. Babyface is back. And anyways, how are you guys doing? Monday, and I thought we'd do a lesson about, you know, why your practice routine is not working. I remember teaching, I taught in person for many, many years, and a lot of people would come in and be like, I'm practicing, like new students would come in like, I've been practicing, but I'm just not getting any better. I'd be like, well, show me what you're practicing, and they would show me stuff, and we would just kind of like tweak it a little bit, and sure enough, then they would really start seeing results from it. So I thought I would share a couple of these things that I would work with people on that really just seemed beneficial. So check it out. I don't know if there'll be tabs for this lesson or not. I might end up tabbing out some of the stuff, so look down below and see if there are tabs. But other than that, let's just start this week off. Let's get learning. Let's play some guitar. So here you guys go. Alright, so the first thing is learning concepts, not necessarily licks. Learning all these licks are really crucial, important. It's great to have all these, like Jimmy Page licks kind of tucked away in your playing. That's where I learned a lot of that stuff from, was Jimmy Page. And what I found real early on was I would kind of learn them, and I only really knew how to use them in that one spot. And it wasn't until I started like visually and mentally breaking down the licks. And I'm not even talking about understanding like, oh, you're bending up to the sixth here, you're bending to the root. Those things are important too. But what I mean is like literally like deconstructing what it is that you're doing. So like for example, if we took like a very basic lick, we'll do it out of the key of A. And a standard kind of like rock blues lick is this. That lick right there. And I have all kinds of delay and reverb and stuff going on, and guess what? I ain't taking it off. Never compromise. So there's the lick. Now I learned that lick, and I really only knew how to use it one way, which was like that, out of that kind of box one pentatonic. I could do it out of E, do it out of D, wherever I was playing at. Hopefully not as sloppy as I'm playing it. But it wasn't until I realized, I was like, well, what if I took that idea, the concept of it, like what's really happening? I bend a note, go to the string below it, play a different note, and I go back to the same string, and get a little pull off. So that's the lick, that's the idea or the concept. And it wasn't until I started moving around these things that I already knew how to do pretty well that I was like, oh, I can do a lot of stuff with this. So let's take the lick, and we're going to move it into our A major pentatonic instead of always doing it in minor. And it kind of gives it a different life. And this is really where you just kind of like, you want to get the most out of the idea. So if I was doing something like this, like there, like I feel like you're getting more out of the lick. And it doesn't even sound like that. Like that's very minor and bluesy, and all of a sudden, it has like a whole new life to it. And it's because I've just taken the concept and I move it around. Even doing it here, I think the overall thing to take away from this is don't get stuck only doing stuff one way. Take the idea and move it, because you could do this like, what if I use my major sixth? So really learn those concepts. Alright, so next what you should really do is, and this is of course if you already have your scales down pretty comfortably, even if you just have your pentatonic major and minor, that you can already do what I'm getting ready to show you, but make sure that you're practicing playing all over the neck. A lot of times people practice and they focus on one key and one area of the neck, and then all of a sudden they need to play something somewhere else and they're completely thrown off. So take a real simple chord progression, G, C, and D. And you could play over the chords, or you could play over the key, which we're going to play over the key for now. So G, C, and then D. Okay? Very simple. But basically what would happen was, the challenging part of it is I needed to play over a different inversion each time. So we would start here, and give yourself plenty of time to play. So just be like... So you hear there's a lot of time there, and what I mean by play over is combining the rhythm and lead, because for one, you're working on timing. You're working on a lot of different stuff. Like it gets easy to get stuck and just going like... for hours, then it kind of becomes not fun, and I'll talk more about that here in a second. But basically, like, look at this. So I'll play the G. I went to the F. My mistake. C. Here I was playing each chord, and I was adding little bits and pieces to it. So I'm focusing on playing, for one, in time and rhythm with the chord changes, but I'm also playing melodic lines over top of it. I'm still visualizing the scale or the chord tones, however you're looking at it, and I'm doing it all over this progression. Now, the challenging part is I can't repeat those same chords in the same spot, so I have to go to a G up here now, then go to my C, then my D, back to C. And this is where learning your inversions and just triads all over the place is so crucial. You know, you can hear how a little bit weaker there on that one, that D chord. But you can hear how each time I went to the D. Okay, and I'm just playing over the scale, which is, I'm just doing G major, pentatonic, all over the place. And I then move them to the next one, so you have to figure out more inversions of it. I'm like, okay, so let's do some more G, C, and D combinations. So here's the G chord. Okay. Now we need to get our C chord. Okay, well, there's our C. There's my D this time. Here's our new area. We're kind of working on blocks 3 and 4 now. So we have our G, C, our D, C, and then back to the G, you know. Then you can move up to the next area. Or you can get really crazy and have your inversions real far apart. So I could do G down here, C all the way up here, then go to D, go to D all the way up here or something like that, you know. Then back to your C down here, and back to G. And you just need to be comfortable playing all over the place with this stuff. And I'm telling you, practice that stuff. You will get good results right away from doing that. Next is don't kill the idea by overplaying it. This is really a big one that I feel like helped a lot of students that I was working with. And what I mean by this is the simple idea of practicing something until it's so ingrained in your head that you hate it. And this works for some people. Like, there are incredible guitar players. By no means am I some, you know, fantastic guitar player who, you know, can say that there's only one way to do things and all that kind of stuff. But for me, what I found is anytime I spent an endless amount of time on something, it started to not come real naturally. And I think this is where every guitar player is different. So maybe you're the person who wants to sit there and work on one idea for 50 straight hours and you get a lot of results from that. For me, it never worked that way. For me, what I did was I worked on ideas slowly, and I kind of like wove them into other stuff I was working on. Like, I didn't really hone in on one thing. So maybe that's why I'm not like this like amazing alternate picker, you know, all that kind of stuff. But so like I said, don't work on something. So like if you're working on a lick, you know, whatever the idea is, maybe you're going, and you can't get it right for some reason. It just is not clicking with you. So what I would do is I would set aside a certain amount of time to work on something, and then I would move on to something else. I always, the example I gave a lot of people is think about like people who exercise and work out. Obviously, I'm in phenomenal shape, so I can't speak too much on this, but I do know that you have leg day, arm day, back, all that kind of stuff, like different days to focus on different parts of your body. And I'm kind of like, well, shouldn't practicing kind of be like that too? Like you don't see the guy just go in there and it's like 100% arm day every single day, you know. And think about that with guitar. Every day shouldn't be picking. Spread it out a little bit. Make practicing fun and keep it in that fun environment in your mind. Because as soon as you start like like, you're dreading practicing something, then you're building this negative outlook on it. And I feel like that just affects how effective you're going to use something like that. So take a look like that. Get where it feels comfortable, work on a little bit, go on to something else. Work on maybe those inversion thing that I was just talking about, or maybe try to incorporate this into it. And go up to your C. My hair was in my face. I couldn't see what note I was going to play. I was like, I'm just going to play a note. So that's something to think about there. Like I said, don't kill it, man. Don't kill the good vibe of learning something useful. So sit there and work on it, but don't play it until you're just like sick of it. Play it for a while, spend some time on it, move on to the next thing. The final thing I'll throw in here is, are you practicing things rhythmically? You know, this is really where playing, melodies, melodically, your rhythm playing bleeds over to your solos. I know solo is such a highlight. I do a lot of lessons about leads and all that kind of stuff, but really kind of like the unsung hero a lot of times is the rhythm playing that you practice. So if you don't practice playing with rhythm, there's no reason to think that your lead style is going to be very rhythmic or like melodic and stuff like that. So you got to really work on that stuff and think about different rhythms. Like I was working on a rhythm, I was watching my buddy Shane and Dr. Rick again live this morning, and this riff came out, I was like, nothing real fancy or anything like that, but it was real rhythmic. Bah, bah, bah. You kind of can't help move to it. So, like I said, if you spend all your days practicing this, that doesn't really have, like, tell me what makes you want to move to it more. Listen to the two things. Okay, do you want to, like, move that? Can you control moving to that? Because I can just sit there. Okay, that's cool. But what if I go like this? Whatever you can do. So make sure you're practicing things that are rhythmically enriching, not just that lead technique, all that kind of stuff. That stuff comes from grinding it out too, but you got to make sure you get that rhythm in there. So there you guys have it. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Like I said, I didn't know how many people would be interested in something like this, so if you enjoyed it, let me know and maybe I can do more of these. And just other than that, have a great day, homies. I hope you all are having a great Monday, a good start to the week. And I'll see you all on Wednesday with another video. Bye, guys. Whoop! Hey, I'll play that rhythm for you. You guys can jam over it. 1, 4, 5 out of the key of B.